Hi there. In this video I'm going to show you how to fix the membrane of a quite badly damaged speaker. Okay, first thing that I want to tell you, I've seen people online repairing something like this on the front side of the speaker, simply cutting, I don't know, a bit of paper tissue, putting some glue on this and then putting that piece of paper tissue on top and maybe another coat of glue or something to soak everything in. That looks, you know, it looks really bad. It's, yes, doesn't make sense. Yes, I totally do understand repairing it from the back is harder, especially on small speakers like this, but making it look at least half decent, in my opinion, is well worth it. So let's get to it. First thing that you want to do, you need something, let me try and find something that is not that damaging to the speaker itself, to the paper when you push it. Something at least a bit rounded. Yeah, it's not the most rounded thing in the world, but I guess you can see it. Maybe it's better to use a piece of plastic or something that doesn't have the tendency to stick on this magnet, but luckily this magnet on this particular speaker is really weak. Only in this area it's strong, but on anything else you can see it doesn't attract anything almost at all. And you need to go from the back of this thing through the opening and simply push this up, not too much. Try to align it with what you still have in there. Simply try to make the edges fit one with the other. Turn this thing around. You can see it does appear to be starting to look a bit better. Any piece of fiber that you can put into its correct position will make this look better in the end. And yes, this is not something that you will do in 3 minutes and then be done with it. This will take a bit of time. But in my opinion, you can do quite good to a speaker, quite a lot of good to a speaker, if you try and make it look as good as you can during or given this this situation. So yeah, I'm going to play around with it and see what's the best that I can do on this with all of these hits. But obviously, best thing, don't get a speaker into this condition. Don't poke your fingers or sharp things in it. Why would you do that? Anyway, and something else, I will coat the edge of this speaker into this thing. Let me focus on it. From simplyspeakers.com is foam guard sealer, but it's also used for paper speaker surrounds, and it will make them much more resilient. They will not crack in time. So for me, there is no reason why you wouldn't apply that to a speaker, apart from the fact that it will change a bit of its appearance. It will be darker on the edge where you applied it, and maybe you have seen speakers with darker edges. They have something like that I showed you applied, so they last longer. Paper doesn't frail like it's starting to do here. Anyway, let me get to this off camera and be back. Also, at this point, after everything is good enough in your opinion, and that's about good enough for the moment, hopefully it will look even a bit better at the end, start putting this thing. This is also a glue, so it has many uses, with something like this. So you put the glue onto the tip of this and then go, for example, here we have the one of the problems. So I'll put glue over that slowly and spread it all around there, and some of it might come out this side, where I will again spread it just a tiny bit. So in the end we might have just a line in this area, but we will not have a huge thing covering it. If I feel that we need to cover it, I will put some of this but on the back of the speaker. So yes, if you do have holes in your speaker, you need to fill them up with something but thicker than this. This is way too thin to fill up holes in a speaker. But I've seen patches on speakers that simply had a crack on the front of the speaker. Why would you do that? Put it on the back of the speaker, especially when it's a huge speaker, easy to work on. On this tiny one, yeah, it's a bit cramped in there, but I feel I can still do it. So yes, this will take a while, so I will do it on high-speed camera. Okay, so this is the first stage. Don't get me wrong, this is far from perfect. It's really hard to put into words. For me, it's impossible to make this look perfect because it's paper. Once you bend it in a certain way, there is no chance of getting it back exactly as it initially was. But this still beats the hell out of having some white pieces of tissue or whatever on top of this speaker. And if I look at the back of it, let me try and focus, hopefully I can. You can see there the white glue that's actually gluing the fibers together, and it will turn impossible to focus in there, quite annoying. It will turn transparent once it dries, and once that glue on the back dries, this will become stable, these repairs, so I can put that edge, which will further strengthen the repairs, and we will actually have really visible only the cracks here, here, this one here, and this one here. Yeah, I didn't focus anything, did I? Yeah, so when I will put that edge sealer all around, we will have just this crack here, this crack there, this and this visible. The rest of it will be strengthened and problems will not be as obvious anymore. But again, this for me it's much closer to restoration than just slapping some pieces of something on top of it. And yes, for this thing, because I'm not missing any parts, the fact that I put the glue on the back and it's actually gluing the fibers on the back, it's good enough. I don't need to put any strengthening material on the back of it, because again I will come with the strengthening material on the front of it all around, apart from the cracks once again. And if you are thinking that's not required, let me try and show you some things. I think on the back they are more visible. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? I saw them a while ago. Hey, 1 second. I'm going to attempt to show you. Hopefully you can see. Where is my pocketing? You can see in that area on the top of the ridge, the material is much more frail. Hope that's the correct. And yeah, we have somewhat of a, what is that? Is that a feather? Yeah, that's a feather. Okay, what are you doing there? Anyway, the material is frailed compared to the one in this area. So this, because of movement, it will get damage on this particular old speaker. So having that edge sealer in place will help the speaker last way longer. And I will also put the edge sealer on the back, again on the edges, but even on the back. I will link some more videos in the description where I did the same thing, and the speakers are much, I know, stronger. Is that the correct term? They feel better, and I'm not afraid I will damage them just by playing them. If I would have played this one with all of these cracks and rips, this wouldn't have lasted too long. So I will let this thing dry and then we will continue. And now I think an hour later, you can see here, this thing is dried up. And at this point I will put that thing right here in high speed all around this on the top side. When that starts to dry, or when it dries, I will also put it on the bottom part, another layer. So let's get to it. Okay, top is done. I will wait for it to dry. And yes, this thing clogged up a few times, and I'm going to tell you why. I bought this, is it 5 years? About 5 years ago, and I didn't use it. I didn't have time to play with my speakers, only randomly and not with the really badly affected ones. So this stayed unused, and I'm actually happy that it's still usable after all that time. If it clogs up from time to time, no, it's not its fault at all. It's my fault that I didn't use it. So anyway, wait for it to dry and be back. And I present you the finished product. And in my opinion, this thing is looking quite well. And I don't see this as defects. I honestly see them more as battle scars, because somebody did a number on this speaker at one point. I have no clue why, but I brought it back, and this is a a usable speaker. Look at it. It's moving exactly as it should be. Zero problems. Like it. I like it. And yeah, this is quite good. And I'm going to show you quickly how this thing helps paper. The thing that I coated all around and I put on the back of these cracks. Okay, so put a bit of the white stuff onto this tissue and left it to dry. Let's take an area that doesn't have it on it and pull on it. Let's pull on it again on another area. You can see it's ripping right next to my finger. And here I simply cleaned my brush on it here. And let's pull on it. Where is it ripping? Where there is no sign of this thing. Let's, I don't know, try again on another direction. It should rip next to my finger like it did before. You can see it's ripping in another place. And let's try where we don't have this thing on this direction, because sometimes paper on another direction rips differently. Again, right close to my finger, here, where that stuff wasn't there before. And if you are thinking it's making the membrane stiff, where this is the paper without it, this is the paper with it. It's much stronger. And again, I only cleaned my brush here. This was no intention to make a good layer. So yeah, this thing really does help paper speakers and surrounds of any kind, obviously. I don't think this is needed for real genuine rubber surrounds, but for cloth, foam and paper, for sure. And that's about it for this 3-watt little speaker that probably is older than I am. We saved it. It lives to play another day. And next I will probably just put a quick picture of how it was before we started to do anything on it. And my camera focuses on whatever it wants. Anyway, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this video helps you. Again, I want to mention, if you have a big hole in a speaker, you need to patch it up somehow, but patch it up on the back of the cone, not on the front. If you have a crack on a really thick membrane speaker, again you might need to have a patch. Doing what I did here might not be quite enough, but do it on the back of the speaker. Don't why would you do it on the front? Anyway, if you do it on the front, I don't know, try to find something that is 100% transparent when this stuff wets it, so then it's not that obvious, but I still wouldn't. Anyway, that's about it for this video. Thank you, and see you in the next one. Bye.